He have a good overhand right. He's a striker, but come on, man. Let's be real.
What up, everyone? Shakiel Mahjouri here for CBS Sports, and you know who this is. He is the UFC's number 7 ranked flyweight contender, fighting in the main event of UFC Vegas 74 against Kai Kara-France on Saturday. A person or two has called me the Prince of Persia, so I'm very good company today. Another royalty sitting in front of me, Amir the Prince Albazi. How's it going, sir?
It's going very good. Fight week has been just easy. Everything's going as planned. I'm ready to put on a show this Saturday night.
Hey, bro, I'm very you read my mind. You've got those enormous hammer fists of yours front and center. How is it that you are fighting at flyweight with extra large gloves?
Yeah, that's how it's have always been. I always have this big hand, and when I put on people, when I grab people, it's game over. That's how it goes.
Are
God
you the
bless me with
only
this.
flyweight that wears an XL?
I think so. Yeah, I don't know any. I asked them. I don't think anyone else wears Excel.
That's ridiculous, man. I was reading through your Wikipedia, doing my research for this, and from what I understand, MMA was sort of an overnight passion for you. You saw an old UFC fight, and it sort of just clicked. What was the UFC fight that sort of sparked your interest in mixed martial arts? Do you remember what the matchup was?
I think it was Chuck Liddell. Usually, I think they used to call it UFC Unleashed. So
Mm-hmm.
wasn't really a live show. They used
It
to
was the
just repeat.
replay.
They were replays of
Yeah.
fights on Eurosport. I remember it was on Eurosport. So I used to get in a lot of fights when I was young, coming to a new country. I couldn't speak the language. So getting into fights as being a young kid in a new country was quite normal. So when I saw it, I knew straight away, like, it caught my eye because I knew it wasn't wrestling, wasn't boxing, was something. It just looked very different and very violent, but it talked to me in a sense. So I started
Yeah.
watching it from there, and just a couple of days after, I started Googling it and asking around, and I found the gym. And hey, here I am, the main event.
Look at
So
that.
yeah, so
UFC
it feels
Unleashed.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Good
it was UFC
memories.
Unleashed.
Good
Yeah, yeah,
memories.
yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about the fight. You take on Kai Kara-France, has fought for the interim world title, number 3 in the division currently. A very important fight in terms of how this flyweight division shapes out. When you assess Kai, what is sort of the biggest challenge he's going to present to you in this fight?
Of course, he have his challenges, but it's nothing haven't faced before. Like, I have way more challenges to him than he have for me. He have a good overhand right. He's a striker, but come on, man. Let's be real. Like, I have fought people with a good overhand right with a striker before. So for me, it's nothing new. The question is, can he handle my pressure? Can he handle my wrestling? Can he handle my grappling? That's the real question. And his track record speaks for itself. My track record, I've never been knocked out in my life. I've never been stopped in my whole career. So let's see how this plays out. I know how it's gonna play out. So I'm gonna save a surprise for the fans.
The flyweight picture I think is a lot more interesting with you injected into it. So I'm very excited for Saturday.
Thank you.
Um, is there, and this is a question I basically ask every flyweight I've talked to in the last like 6 to 12 months. For you, is it a bit of a relief that we finally moved on from Brandon Moreno versus Davison Figueiredo, because their quadrilogy, historic, exciting for the division, but it sort of barred any other challengers for the last 4 years, and now we're sort of starting to see a game of catch up. Pantoja fighting for the title. No, yeah.
It's perfect timing. I see it as exactly perfect timing. The way I just came and entered the picture is perfect timing. Now their beef is over. I don't know what Figueiredo does. If you want to get revenge for his little brother, I'm here too. I can fight him after I'm done with Kai, so I don't mind that too. So it just it's perfect timing for me. The stars are aligned. Everything is set. I just need to beat Kai and go get my title, even if they don't want to give it to me.
Is there any sort of relief going into this fight week, knowing that you're, because I saw an interview you did with UFC's website about how people will say, oh, well, Amir hasn't fought anyone. Well, that's not intentional. You were matched up with Alex Perez, matched up with Brandon Royval, matched up with Tim Elliott. Is it exciting, relieving? What are the feelings like to finally get to this moment? And hey, now it's a main event.
Exactly. I'm very excited for this fight because, hey, let's Kai have the pressure on him. I don't have any pressure going into this fight. I had pressure on the other fights where I fight like my last fight, like a debut guy. I had nothing, zero to win. I knew what people gonna say after I finish him, and that's exactly what happened. Oh, but you haven't fought ranked guys. Like you say, I've been trying to fight these ranked guys for a long time, and they've just been ducking me. They all pulled out. Tim Elliott pulled out. Brandon Royval pulled out. Alex Perez pulled out. That's not my problem. Now to be honest, I'm tired of this shit. I just want to go in there and get my belt, and whoever stands in my way, I'm just gonna take them out.
I'm sorry to get sidetracked here. This is really eerie. You mentioned that Chuck Liddell was the fighter that got you into MMA. Is that Chuck Liddell's name I'm seeing all behind you right now?
That's Chuck Liddell's office right behind me. I picked the right spot. Can you see
Whoa, that
everything
is
is
crazy.
stars are aligned? Yeah.
I love that. Is Chuck
Yeah.
around today?
No, not today, but I know his name is always on this office. They call it the Chuck Liddell office. So
Oh, I see. I see.
I,
That's
I
great.
picked the
That's
right
fun.
spot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Absolutely.
Good eye,
As
good
I
eye.
was, yeah, it just caught my attention. I couldn't unsee it. Um, as I was preparing for this, I was reminded that you and I actually did an interview once years ago for another publication, and you were very, very giving and candid about your life growing up. And I was reading through that, and it sparked a couple of new questions. So I was wondering if I could read you a quote from that interview.
Yeah, of course, of
Yeah.
course.
You said about growing up in Iraq, I knew politically something wasn't right. You had to be quiet. We had to sing the national anthem every morning. That was normal for us. We used to get beaten up in school. That was normal for us. May I ask who was beating up the students?
It was the teacher. It's not really big. Yeah, we got like punished for different
Yeah, like
stuff. Like
reprimanded physically.
yeah, like what's
Hmm.
the one thing I remember is standing on one leg for an hour against the wall. And yeah, you can only switch your legs. You cannot go down on both legs. Or they would put a pen between your fingers and they would squeeze. Or they would hit you with a ruler on different, like a very hard ruler, like a wooden ruler and stuff like that. But to be honest, for us, it's normal. It's not like something new.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, of course, a lot of it changed, but I came up in the old school time, and that's what made me today. I'm proud of where I come from. I know my country had a lot of problems. They probably been three wars since I remember. So I know the country is still suffering, and I want to give back to them
Yeah.
in any way I can. And hopefully, they see my face in the UFC, and I can bring a new generation into the
Yes,
sport,
sir.
exactly like Khabib did with the Russians. So I'm looking forward to it. And this Saturday night, when I get this win, it's just gonna put another stamp, on the map that we're here to stay.
The first Iraqi UFC fighter, if I'm not mistaken.
Exactly. I'm the
Yes,
first
sir.
Iraqi UFC fighter. I took the first gold in jiu-jitsu for Iraq. This is the first Iraqi in the main event, and I'm gonna be the first Iraqi and Arab champion in the UFC.
You mentioned to me in that same interview, actually, before we get to that, you kind of touched on it a bit, but what are some of the ways in which that sort of tough upbringing has what have you been able to draw from that and apply to this journey through MMA?
Man, I moved to so many countries, fleeing country after country. I love think people don't know I grew up alone with my brother. Like my brother was 16, I was 15. We lived alone. From that age, I learned to take care of myself, to work. I worked as like just different jobs to just get by. A lot of things. So now when I go in, like people are like, oh, I gotta do a 5 rounder. It's a fight. See, I just laugh at it. It's just like I'm gonna go in a fight and get paid for it. I would do it anyways, like I wouldn't mind like this. Just I fought all my life in the streets. And there you don't know. You might get stabbed, you might get shot, something might happen, people might jump you now one-on-one, and I have a referee to make sure I'm healthy. They're doing
Easy.
brain checks. They're easy for me. So that's why I bring with me. I feel like nothing is really too hard for me. I've been through all the hardships, so now I'm just going through it.
One thing you expressed in that interview and you've sort of brought up today as well is sort of the desire to see the Arab MMA scene grow. The last time we talked was 3 years ago. How much development have you seen coming from that region of the world?
A lot, a lot. Now we can see Fight Island coming up. Like That's a popular spot to fight. You see the boxing stuff with Saudi Arabia and their stuff they're doing there. Qatar, Kuwait, the whole region is growing. So I know it's just a matter of time. And I just wanna put my foot there to show them, hey, we can too. We can also do this. And hopefully, if Dana listens, people listen from the UFC, let's open up a PI in Abu Dhabi, Let's do that. I can take care of everything, I know I can not only fight, but I can also coach. I can bring a whole new generation of fighters from that region into the sport. So I'm looking forward to it. But first of all, I need to take care of myself, get that belt, and everything gonna follow.
Maybe there's a season of The Ultimate Fighter in your future in that side of the world. Too.
Exactly.
All right. Last thing, I want to get you out of here. I'm just going to run you through a few rapid fire questions. These can be quick answers, okay?
All right.
All right. First, I would like you from number 1 to number 5 to rank the 5 greatest flyweights in MMA history, in your opinion.
Greatest, I just come Demetrius Johnson, number 1, for sure. Henry Cejudo, he did a good job. He took out 2 of the most dangerous guys, so I have to give him respect for that. And to be honest, I would say 3, Brandon Moreno, but besides that, I give you 3. The rest, nothing special to me. Nothing special to me at all.
Probably Amir Albazi would have to be in there then at that rate, but
they're gonna know soon. Yeah, they're gonna know soon.
I know you've got quite the brotherhood going in the gym. Who spars harder of the Basharat brothers, Javid or Farid?
They're both beasts in their own way, to be honest with you. They're both like dynamic fighters, good everywhere. People haven't seen their full potential yet, and soon they're gonna see that too. We're just on a rise, all of us. We came from the, small gym in like London, trained hard together. It's just nice to see that we're all together on this journey now.
Last one. This is more for me than for anyone else. What is one Iraqi dish that everybody should try?
So many good ones, but I would say, one is Iraqi kuzi, which is a lamb shank cooked in a traditional way. That's mostly like if you go to a nice restaurant, that's what they recommend. But also actually our national dish, which is smoked fish over open fire for a long time. It's a lot of people don't know. It's a carp fish. They open it up and they smoke it over fire for a long time. Really nice. So if you're ever in Iraq, man, I invite you. Be my guest. Show you around. Make you eat the good food. Gain 10 pounds. No problem.
Done deal. Careful. I will hold you to that, Amir.
Hold me to that. I'd be more than happy to take you there.
Okay, well, hopefully we'll see each other soon then. I want to leave you with the last word, so I'll do my part very quickly. Guys, thanks so much for watching the video. If you're still here, please subscribe, tap the notification bell, thumbs up. Give us your official prediction. Kai Kara-France versus Amir Albazi. That headlines UFC Vegas 74 on Saturday. Amir, if there's anything you want to let the people know, the floor is yours, my friend.
I'm here, my friends. I'm here. I'm here to take over. Now, maybe you see a stock, but after June 3rd, you're gonna know. You're gonna know the truth.